Real quick before this video starts, if you have not already, please subscribe to this channel if you have been keeping up with the series. I'm trying to hit 30k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also drop a like, that helps the video do better. But with that said, let's get into it. So our second round matchup is the OKC Thunder, which might not seem like that intimidating of a matchup, but I said at the end of the last episode that this team scares me, and here is why. I played a game this season against the Thunder that did not make the cut. I usually put pretty much every game I record in the videos, but if it's not entertaining or it's just a complete blowout, then I almost always will cut those games. But when I do, I'm almost always cutting a blowout on our end because we blew the opposing team out. But this team, the Thunder, were up 30 going into the fourth quarter. So let me explain to you why the Thunder are so good in this game. They have essentially speed run this rebuild. All of their young players have developed extremely fast, and one thing in particular about this team is that you know how some players translate really well to 2K and some don't? All of these players translate really well to 2K. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a 90 overall, and he could have been the scoring champ if not for Luka. Josh Giddey is a bucket and a great playmaker with crazy size at his position. They signed Wendell Carter Jr., who is an 85 overall and hits three-pointers now. Their rookie Paolo Banchero is an 85 overall already. He is a huge forward with guard skills. Lou Dort is now a knockdown shooter. They have developed Pokuševski off of the bench along with a developed Trey Mann. Both of them are 80 overalls. Hell, they even have Derek Favors and our old friend Reggie Bullock off of the bench, which overall is some damn solid depth. The team can score, pass, defend, and rebound. They have size and versatility, a great starting lineup, and good depth. I fear no team, but this team scares me. So now that I have properly expressed my fear of this team in terms of how we match up, Robert Covington is getting the SGA assignment. I think he should be fine speed-wise defending him. Shai is crafty more so than he is quick. I'm hoping that Robert Covington's length and defensive IQ will bother some of Shai's moves. I'm going to put Wall on Josh Giddey because he's an offensive threat in his own right, so I want my next best defender on him. Hardaway on Lou Dort should be fine, just don't leave him wide open for three. And Luka is guarding Paulo, which I don't love, but the SGA assignment really needs to go to Robert Covington, and Wall and Tim don't have the size to handle Paulo, so hopefully Luka can survive. And then of course Hayes is defending Wendell Carter Jr. I'm just hoping he doesn't get burned on too many open three-pointers. As for our offense, I'm really concerned with the matchup for both of our ball handlers. Wall has to deal with the size and length of both Giddey and Shai depending on who is at point, and size is usually what Wall uses to his advantage, at least on the nights when he's actually efficient. And Luka gets the pleasure of being defended by Lou Dort. Now, he does have a big height advantage, at least relatively speaking, even though I'm pretty sure Dort has the wingspan that kind of counteracts that. But that does give me some hope. But in the game that I did play versus OKC earlier in the season, Dort gave me hell. So I'm concerned about that. But with all of that said, do I think we can win this series? Well, actually, yes. I know I said a ton of negative stuff, but I think these are two relatively evenly matched teams, but only one of them is being controlled by me, and as good as the CPU is this year with my boosted sliders, they're good, but at least in the games that I play, I'm better than the CPU for the most part. So hopefully that can be the difference maker between two teams that otherwise I think are pretty much evenly matched. Hell, they had the same regular season record, so directly evenly matched in that regard. But anyways, let's get into the games. You know what's really kind of sad about this particular matchup? Sad and also weird as Wendell greens this three out of the corner, which is not a good sign at the start. I am planning for my next series to be the OKC Thunder. And not only was I planning for my next series to be the OKC Thunder, but I was planning for that go Paolo Banchero. Hopefully I'm saying that name correctly. I Googled the pronunciation. That's what it said it was. I was planning on the series starting, and well, not starting because I was going to play the full year, but he's exactly who I was going to draft. That was going to be the main draft acquisition I did with the OKC Thunder. And then now here we are with this matchup. We see early on the Thunder have had a decent lead on us, and now it's not as big, but it's still, you know, they're definitely hitting us in the mouth early. But to close the first quarter, Luka ends up going on a little bit of a tear, hits the three before that one, then the step back on Derek Favors, who is a fantastic backup center, Spin and finish there by Paulo, sorry. And then step back once more to end the first quarter with that shot over our old friend Reggie Bullock. So early on in this game, it's relatively close, but it's been close because we've been able to slow down their offense. Our offense has been a struggle, and you'll see in this game that the Thunder do not really continue to be a struggle for their offense, but then our offense continues to not come the easiest. Though I will say, John Wall actually had a better series overall than I expected. Fucking touchdown pass there by Josh Giddey to Lou Dort, who cherry-picked like a motherfucker. But John Wall actually had a really good series here, which I appreciated, and he doesn't always, and it depends. Like, some games, like, I score 20 with him easily, and some games it's a struggle to get 10. Didn't realize Tim would be that open. That's why the dribble was there, but that shot ends up dropping. And you may have noticed early that Shai is really getting his shot going. Got some good separation right there. As I mentioned earlier, he was, like, I think third or something in scoring in the league this year, so he is no joke whatsoever as an offensive threat. Paulo gets that and one on the fast break to close, and you see we have a 10-point deficit at this point. But then at the end of the second quarter, Luka hits that tough shot over Reggie Bullock once again. But Shai with the not sidestep, the snatchback crossover into the three-pointer. Josh Giddey with the dump-off pass to Paulo. And then Shai right here in the corner to Paulo for the three-pointer, and suddenly we are at a 12-point deficit. Paulo misses this three-pointer. The one weakness that he has is that his three-point shot is kind of mediocre. It's like a 76, 77. That's like literally the worst thing they have going for them offensively, because this guy, Lou Dort, he can hit three-pointers. So now we see ourselves with a 19-point deficit, make it 21 with the dunk by Trey Mann. So this game didn't really work in our favor there. Juan Toscano-Anderson hits that shot, but then right here on this play, Josh Giddey gets this ridiculous and one-on-one. So I decided at this point, going to the third quarter, we're down 20. Yeah, I think we can wrap this one up. And we did not win the game through simulation, luckily. That would have been kind of shitty if we did. Yeah, the Thunder just punched us in the mouth in the first game in spite of the fact that Luka was having a good game. Lou Dort didn't really bother him too much, but we couldn't stop their offense. And then our offense outside of Luka and then John Wall was pretty good in that game. Was just not there. And then I simulated most of game two. It was close going to the fourth quarter, so I decided to hop in. And then Robert Covington gets that layup at the start. Shai gets this finish over John Wall. You might wonder why I didn't put John on Shai as the matchup and went for Robert Covington. I just felt like Robert Covington's length would be more bothersome, and I feel like if on that layup right there, Robert was the one defending Shai instead of John Wall, poorly defended pick and roll right there, then we would have seen a different result. Also, Paulo, I keep calling him Palo. He should not be wearing number 0. I just realized that. I edited the entire game plan, didn't even realize that. But, yeah, that number will never be worn by another member of the Thunder. I didn't even notice that. I would have changed it before the start of the series had I done so. Shai Gilgeous with the three-pointer that very easily could have gone in to win the game, but it does not drop, so we are going into overtime now. But the cut by Shai off of the good pass from, I believe that was Josh Giddey. John Wall with the drive inside as Shai was still trying to recover that whole possession. But Tim Hardaway on Shai right there, not the best matchup in the world, and he just launches from 3. One of the biggest adjustments that I don't think people have mentioned much with this 2K is that the CPU is much more willing to pull up like on a dime. And you'll note, you've seen in a couple of games now where I start to anticipate the drive, and I end up giving a guy too much space because they have a much quicker trigger than they used to. But as you see to close out this overtime with this and one by Wendell Carter that was ridiculous that dropped. Once again, we lose game 2 now. Shai had 35 points in this game, so he's had 30 in both games now. But after going down 0-2 on OKC's home floor, I decided that I was going to go for the kill at the start of this game. I was going to try and punch them in the mouth as they did in our first game, and just all gears going, trying my damnedest to win this game. And early on, our offense was definitely working in our favor for this, and once again, our defense was not bad. It's just their offense was pretty good. That was a nice finish by John Wall. A lot of John Wall's scoring actually gets cut. Another very great finish from John Wall. A lot of John's scoring gets cut from the gameplay because it's just straight line drives with nothing interesting whatsoever. But both of those finishes right there in that first quarter were really impressive and interesting to watch. But old friend Reggie Bullock decides he's going to get some revenge right there with that mid-range pull-up on the break. But to close the first quarter, once again, Luka is beating a quarter buzzer with the dunk right there. John with the drive inside, kick out, Juan wide open for three. I probably could have kept going with John Wall, but that works too. And then John even gets in on the three-point action right there. Now 17 points in the first half, which is a lot for John Wall. Rebound there by Jackson Hayes off of the Paulo miss. And then this step-back three by Luka. I can get that like 5 times a game if I really want to. It works so effectively. Nice pick and roll there by Jackson Hayes with the step back, creating some space. Free throw line, elbow, pull up, jump shot for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. A great behind the head pass to Josh Giddey for the 3-pointer. I was busy and I had to go do something like after this game, and I was a little bit late, so I had to simulate for a good amount. And it almost bites me because it was like a 15-point game when I hopped in, but the OKC Thunder immediately go on a run. I don't know if simulating changed the momentum or whatever, but I have to make sure I close this one out because I was late to do something, but I wanted to be sure that we won the game still. And luckily, we are able to recover after that brief run by the Thunder, and we close out Game 3. Luka had himself a game, as did John Wall, who mostly did his scoring in the first half. Once again, Shai had 30, but, you know, whatever. We absolutely blow them out of the water in the next game, but then in the game following that, the OKC Thunder now take a 3-2 lead. So on our home floor now, we have to make sure to avoid elimination. I really would prefer if we were just in the final game, like Game 7 or whatever, because I don't like playing multiple games. Or I like this one is the third one now or whatever, and I don't like to play like 4 in a series. But hopefully that will be a problem that I have to deal with when we win this game. But early on, OKC Thunder, the OKC Thunder are once again making their shots. Crazy that shot by Tim was a green release, but it works out. Juan Toscano-Anderson at the top of the key hits that 3-pointer. Early on, OKC is hitting their shots. Reggie Bullock gets that one out of the corner to get some revenge, and apparently he's mad at me because I mistimed that jump at the end of the buzzer, and he still hits that. Somehow Wendell Carter makes that. But this play right here is one of the most efficient defense to offense plays I have ever seen. The snatch block by Jackson Hayes, then the full court pass to Luka, and the bounce pass to Tim Hardaway Jr. in the corner for the 3. Just an absolutely immaculate and like flawless play. 2 passes and a block and rebound in the same thing. Just peak efficiency right there. But you see right here, we are still in a deficit with this team. Luka gets some cooking early in this second half. That might have been at the end of the second quarter. I'm not sure. But on the break, Lou Dort pull-up 3-pointer that was an unnecessary pull-up, but he still greened that shit. Josh Giddey misses that, but Paulo is there for the putback dunk. He got a couple of nice dunks in the paint in this game. That's the thing I said earlier about anticipating the drive and then giving them the pull-up. Trey Mann gets that 3-pointer right there at the start. And then in the corner, Josh Giddey. So you see the points are piling on at this point. We're going to the fourth quarter now. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take over with Luka, but like it wasn't even really working. And then I'm like, okay, am I going to make a 25-point comeback with 6 minutes on the clock? I don't know that I'm going to do that. It's now a 30-point game with 6 minutes. I don't like to give up in an elimination game, but this is just not going to happen. So, yeah, we lost this series. I thought we had. I would have bet on us winning. Granted, it would have been like a 52% chance we win. But yeah, we were eliminated by the OKC Thunder. So I guess on the positive note, I didn't have to play a Game 7. The Pelicans end up winning the championship. As you see, Zion is ridiculous, and the Pelicans are always way too good in 2K. But yeah, next episode will be the offseason, I suppose. That is it. Goodbye.